This is Professor Pete Alexander with the Winning at Business and Life podcast, where business leaders share their insights. It is 6 questions in 7 minutes because successful business leaders are busy and rarely have more time to spare. So let's get to it. Question number one. In a few sentences, please tell me who you are and what you do.
Hi, my name is Erika Warfield. I'm with Metagrowth Ventures. Thank you so much for having me on, Professor Pete. Basically, what I do, Metagrowth Ventures is a company where we work with folks who ask us and retain us to build for them their very own, completely remote, completely accountable, and completely well trained 100% commission sales teams for them. And they do this because they basically want to step away from founder selling. They want to focus on the fun vision they had for their company. They want to increase their multipliers, and maybe they want to drop the fixed costs of draws and salaries. So they hire us to do all of that for them. It helps them scale their monthly recurring revenue. And I think the best way I can describe it is we are like an outsourced VP of growth to scale them 10x in a way that's safe, smart, and efficient. And we do that by hiring their own 1099 team of contractors and then coaching those folks to earn six figures by the end of the year.
Erica, it's great to have you on the show, and I love what your company's all about. Question number two. What's the best thing about working in your industry?
There's a couple of things, especially with your background in stress. Our performance coaches, if I look at them as a whole team, they've got about 94,000 hours of mastery level coaching experience. So when they are working with our clients' sales teams, they're working holistically. It's almost like having Michael Jordan's performance coach, so to speak. So they're making sure they're not stressed out. They're making sure there's no burnout, all the while helping them meet their KPIs as salespeople. So they're very much about, all right, how do we do this and not create more stress, but not break the client's system? So I think there's that aspect. And then for the clients, I love the fact that we're helping them put together an exit strategy because I don't think people realize if the company is dependent upon you as a CEO or as a founder, you are never going to be able to sell that company. You make a great CEO, but you are not going to make a great employee. And ain't nobody going to buy your company if you have to come along with it.
Hmm.
So I think those are some of the really good things about what we do.
Oh, and that's so insightful. I mean, a lot of people don't realize that it's, yeah, you're not going to be make a good employee because you've been used to running your own business. My goodness.
Yeah. Right. Right. Talk about stress for that person.
Oh my goodness. And for the people around them, probably. My goodness. Anyway, question number three. I have a fictitious book with all the answers for business. What chapter would you think most companies should read?
I think companies should probably read a chapter on creating a stress free environment for their employees or their contractors. I think if you were to have a chapter in there for people in general, I think they should read up on things that would have to do with health and how do they monitor their own stress levels.
Mhm.
Because I'm thinking about you and your background. I think if there were a chapter that covered how do you get into your parasympathetic nervous system and just try to stay there as much as possible and alternative modalities, I think that would be fabulous.
Well, thank you. And I appreciate the plug. Question number four. Other than the generic work harder, have a great attitude, and care for customers, what advice or insight would you give to other business leaders?
I think business leaders in general could really take a page out of a copywriter's handbook, meaning I think they need to start addressing their benefits of whatever their product or service is. I think so many companies are starting to focus on features, and sometimes they'll focus on advantages. But the deal is, a feature has absolutely no intrinsic value until the prospect assigns it a value. And the only way they do that is they have that light bulb moment of, oh, here's the benefit to me. So just cut to the chase, create value, get to the benefit. What is going to be in it for the prospect?
Mm.
And just kind of stop wasting your time and theirs. I mean, right now, I think we're seeing a very prevalent culture on LinkedIn. It's all over, especially, and I'm speaking directly about the continual spamming we're seeing in the DMs.
Yeah.
And it's what that is a constant demand on a potential prospect without providing any value or benefit or whatsoever in the exchange. It is probably one of the most selfish ways to use the DMs. And I think Brennan Manning said this best. And he said, in every encounter, we either give life or we drain it. There is no neutral exchange.
And it's interesting that you say that it's an energy exchange, is what I hear you saying.
Mhm.
It's either you're a taker or you're a giver. And that whole spam DMing on LinkedIn, I got one yesterday where it was the first one that I saw that LinkedIn actually caught it as a spam, because I saw it and then and like I blinked and then it disappeared and it went into a spam folder. So I obviously LinkedIn has realized that there's a problem with that too.
That's what that was. That happened to me. It was like somebody sent something, and I thought, I have no idea what this is, but let me check out what this joker has. I clicked on it, and it was like suddenly not available.
Yep, yep.
I had no idea what that was.
Yep, there's a spam folder now, and I'm glad for that. And I just disconnected from that person because it wasn't anything relevant to me, not personalized, nothing. So, heed the warning, everybody listening. If you start spamming people, you are going to lose connections. Absolutely.
Or you could lose, I don't think they realize they could completely lose everything they've worked for on LinkedIn and lose their profile. I had one yesterday. It was the connection request. The connection request was spam. Yeah.
That's so. It's even they didn't give any slack. It was boom right there. Oh my gosh. So oh well, they
Yeah.
learn. They got to learn, and that's poor. It's a negative branding on them. So it's very insightful that you share that, Erica. Thank you. Question number 5. What other business leader like yourself would you like to acknowledge and invite to be on my podcast?
Um, when I think of business leaders, I like to make the delineation between a business leader and then like a servant leader. And so I think those who would be really great servant leaders, who would be stellar on a podcast. I think our CEO and our COO of Metagrowth Ventures, that would be Josh Hirsch or Joe Arioto. I would also recommend David Fischette of Go West Creative. I would recommend Rocco Cilio of Rapid Funnel. I'm just going to read these because I've got them written down. Sean Marzolo of Acceleron, Rodney Fear of D Cube, and finally Eyal Cohen of ZenTap. He is like this boy wonder C-suite executive. I think all of those gentlemen would be great to have on your show.
Wonderful. Thank you for all those referrals. I will. Them. I really appreciate that. And our final question number 6. Please tell me about your first job.
There's always babysitting, but I think if I had to go back to my first real job where I actually had to pay the IRS
Mm.
out of my $3.50 per hour, that would have to be when I was 15 and I was working at Six Flags over Texas in the ridiculous heat of Texas on asphalt,
Mm.
40 hours a week.
Mm.
40 hours a week. That would probably be my very first one. And then a little bit later, right out of high school, because I was following a classically trained musician's path at that time. I think within my first year out of high school, I was asked to come back and teach my former peer group at that high school and junior highs private clarinet lessons.
Mm.
And so that was a really fun gig, as an 18-year-old to be teaching private clarinet lessons to people that I had literally just gone to school with the year before, and then the feeder junior highs that were going into those high schools.
Mm-hmm. And I assume you weren't teaching them the classical music in the heat on the asphalt, right? It was
So
indoor.
that was marching band. Every summer on the asphalt practice football field with the painted lines. Yes.
I'm starting to sweat just listening to this. It's
Yeah.
for having you on the show. How can people find you?
Well, they can find me on my LinkedIn profile, but also I just launched a website. And so I'm going through the different iterations as I recreate and add to, but that's erikawarfield.com.
Great. This is Professor Pete Alexander with the Winning at Business and Life podcast. For more insights and ideas, please go to LinkedIn, YouTube, Facebook, or iTunes and search for the Winning at Business and Life podcast. Thanks for listening.